Welcome to PRAJNA SPARKS Special Series 59 Days of Healing, where we explore one maxim from the Tibetan Lojong text, 7 points for healing dualistic mind, each day to integrate the practice into our lives. Today is day 22, and we are working with point 5, track your progress. Maxim 22 is the last maxim in this point on tracking our progress, and it reads, when you can stay with this, even when distracted, you are indeed adept. Not a whole lot more to say about that one. We can see why this maxim is one of the ways that we can track our progress. Even if this isn't the maxim that you pulled for the day that you're working on, as you go about your life and you're working with these maxims, building them into your days, massaging them into your life, you'll find that one day, all of a sudden, maybe you're at the supermarket and somebody cuts ahead of you in line, and your normal reaction would be to get irate and tell them to leave. And all of a sudden, that light heart opens and you fall back into its warmth. And not only that, then you think, oh, I must be indeed adept. Here I am in the middle of distraction and it's happening for me. These are the first glimmers of progress happening and showing themselves to us. The interesting thing about any kind of practice, but certainly spiritual practice, it's quite subtle, is that we've probably made progress before we noticed. And progress means something different. I'm always a little concerned with all of the stuff about self-growth and development and progress from the perspective of what it says about us now. There's nothing wrong with growth and progress and development unless we take that to mean that there's something bad or wrong with us now that needs to be fixed, that needs to be changed. All the spiritual path is about is letting go of things that aren't serving us and revealing the things that we are that can serve us and others. To work with this maxim on any given day, if this is your first time through the maxims, you might be thinking, well, what the heck am I going to do with this one? I haven't even started this practice yet. That's fine. You can just allow yourself to imagine, visualize yourself in a situation that you find tricky and difficult, and imagine yourself rising to the occasion in a way that makes you feel like you are serving yourself and others in the best way possible. Imagine living your highest aspirations here and now. And before you know it, you'll be catching yourself and saying, I must be indeed adept.
I have so much familiarity with distraction. I feel like there's just so much opportunity for this one. I am so often distracted. And I love this idea of imagining being in distraction and having all of the maxims present and working their magic. I think I sometimes have things, sort of markers in my outside experience, because I think sort of distraction is, well, I was about to say anytime when I'm not on the cushion, but honestly, I'm so distracted even when I'm on the cushion half the time. There are things like you talked about, somebody cuts in front of you in line, the grocery store. And by the way, I'm feeling like we need to do a whole teaching on Buddhist practice at Trader Joe's. But what I do when I'm in line, because I always pick the wrong line. I always pick the one that's longest and I have to wait more. And whenever I'm in line, I go, oh, this is a chance for me to practice my breathing. And so then I just focus on doing some slow, deep breathing. And so that for me is just a little reminder when I'm out there in the world. And I just always remember to do that when I'm grocery shopping. I'm curious about, if we sort of give ourselves some markers, like when we know that there's something that's challenging for us. Like, oh yes, when I'm driving and another driver doesn't turn off their signal. Is it helpful to sort of have some markers for ourselves of things that we know might be troubling to us and come up with a strategy beforehand?
We'll get to a maxim pretty soon that tells us to start working on our most robust issues first. That would be a direct response to what you just said. If you know that road rage is an issue, then perhaps heavy metal might not be the best thing to listen to when you're on the highway. You can listen to some classical music. You can find other ways that relax you. You can find something that reminds you of why this is important. You could write down, this is something that happens. This is why it's not good for me, why I don't like it. This is what I would prefer and how that would change my life. Sometimes just explaining that to ourselves, even if you don't write it down, will help. Let's say that we're not indeed adept quite yet. It takes a while, but we catch ourselves at the grocery store or getting angry as we're driving or whatever it may be. The rest of the maxims in point 6 and point 7 are healing promises, commitments that we make to ourselves for our own well-being, as well as tips. When you catch yourself getting distracted, look for something in the maxims that helps you. Maybe it's work on your most robust issues first. Maybe it's 3 objects, 3 poisons, 3 virtues. Every time I'm at the checkout line, this happens. I must have that poison of not picking the wrong line. That's not the problem. First of all, you can't make a mistake about the line at the supermarket. It's just what it is.
Oh, right. I forgot that part. I can't make a mistake. It's exactly the right line because I need more time with my breathing.
Not only that, there isn't anything about the line. It's our attitude toward it, our aversion to somebody else getting out the door before we did, or not getting out 2 seconds earlier than if we stayed on this line, or whatever it may be. So we can look at that maxim. Well, how are the toxins, the kleshas, the unhealthy emotions that I'm habituating myself to, getting me all riled up? The beauty of this maxim is even when the maxims aren't coming up for us automatically, we can stop ourselves and say, oh, I just got distracted. I was gossiping. I was talking behind somebody's back. I was angry on the road. I was not being patient, whatever it may be, and actively go plowing through the rest of the maxims until you find one that works for you. Personally, what I do when I have a really stuck issue, I just can't see my way out of it, is I start at maxim number 1 and I read them through one by one and try to see what each of the maxims are helping me understand about my very stuck situation. That's something we can do in extreme circumstances. But even in isolated events, a particular period of distraction, you can find something in these maxims that helps you work with it in a way that makes you feel more open, more joyous, more free.
This has been Yeshe and Tanya on day 22 of PRAJNA SPARKS special series, 59 Days of Healing. Tune in daily for more maxims from the Tibetan Lojong text, 7 Points for Healing Dualistic Mind. Check the episode notes for more resources and email us at sparks@prajnafire.com with any questions. May all beings benefit.